A black-owned South African company that wants to change the narrative about South Africa's reported slow pace of taking up the artificial intelligence boom in the world. Kgotso Chikane is the chief executive officer at the company, and he says the future is robotics. Let me correct this name. It's MegaTech AI.
MegaTech AI.
Thank you.
Right, yeah.
It looks like AL, but artificial intelligence is what it stands for. Thank you. Yes, Thanks so much for coming into the studio. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so I've emphasized artificial intelligence. Remind us, what is it?
Okay, artificial intelligence, I mean, by definition, is an optimization process that steers us into a particular set of configurations. I suppose in layman terms we can say it's how we use science and engineering to build intelligent machines.
Yeah.
But for us, it's not just about building a machine. It's about building the software or writing the code that enables the machine to do complex functions.
Yeah.
You know, human beings, or the human brain, perform complex functions. So, I mean, so the way in which we see artificial intelligence is that it should take us to a substrate of thinking that is way beyond biological tissue, meaning that we need an augmented brain or an augmented human to perform certain functions, because at the rate at which things are happening, machines, far outpace us in memory, in calculations, in cognition, and cognitive abilities and so on. So we need to move it to a point whereby we look at artificial intelligence as a next level. The fourth industrial revolution has ushered in a new phase in which we use the Internet of Things, sensors, to enable us to communicate much more fluently, much more efficiently. It creates a ubiquitous platform for us to
Talk to me about how you got involved in this. I mean, what attracted you to robotics and designing, as you say, the data basically to enable the robot to do what is expected of it? Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, in its historical context, is that I mean, the first, second, third industrial revolutions, left the African continent out of the race, if you like. Africa was busy, fighting wars of liberation and so on. But now, as a free people in a new Africa, whereby 60% of the youth in the African continent are using social media all the time, we need to, begin to think about how we can leverage this new economy. It is a new economy. Yeah. It introduces a new pedagogy of learning, learning through online, through, using simulation, using audio, video, to take education to another level. That's why there are a lot of online learning courses now.
Yeah.
There's a flood of them. So the world has changed. There's been a seismic shift in how we should look at technology, how we should look at economics. For instance, the advent of big data, right, has changed the economics of discovery.
Yeah.
Many years ago, scientists used to look at small samples of data, but now we're not even talking about metadata. We're talking about, big data. We're talking about hyperdata, whereby we need to have new rules and new heuristics, maybe even hyper heuristics, to begin to say what data means to us. Because if you look at data sampling or sampling or statistical sampling, and you look at a small data set, that's what used to happen in the past. But now the orders of magnitudes are overwhelming. So in a sense that, then the qualitative becomes quantitative and vice versa.
Yeah.
Gone are the days whereby you can take a small sample, statistical sample, and draw your own conclusion. Now what we do is that we have a hypothesis, and then we take the data, we put it in a simulated environment, like in a code, or if in an algorithm, if you like, and the algorithm does permutations that we will know once we put it in a machine. The way in which the data is churned, it comes up with variables that we won't even know what the outcome is going to be. Unlike before, when you did programming, it's what you put in is what you got out. So programming was brittle and it was not scalable. But now you have an era whereby machines are the ones that are learning.
Give me an example of the kind of machine you make. What do you do? Like when you talk about data and you talk about something that your company actually produces, give me a physical example. What is the kind of technology that you're working with now?
Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, at the moment, we're doing a lot of data simulation. I mean, we're using, unfortunately, American data at the moment, because that's the one that's it's currently available on the internet, on the platform that we're using, because we're using an open source programming source code, and Google is much more better. I mean, we could use Amazon or Azure, but those are much more proprietary platforms. But so what we do is that we take a simulated data, and we look at various variables. I mean, you can tell us, you can say, configure this data in the following manner. You know, then we'll apply data science rules. We'll use basic principles of data science. We'll say, what is the data model? You know, what are the data cleansing issues? You know, what is the master data requirement? And then what is the data governance model? And then once we've applied that criteria, then we're able now to say, you know, this data needs to reside in this environment. So we then move it from where it is to a new environment. So we have a new algorithm for storage. We have a new algorithm, for instance, for database management and so on. So it's like, if you like, by definition, we are in the algorithmic economy. Everything now is going to be done by algorithms. Algorithms are going to calculate for us. You still will enjoy the benefit of highly qualified statisticians and actuaries, but machines you know, will invariably do it better than them. So what we do, we take data, we put it in a code, for lack of a better word, or to simplify it, and then the code, because it's got it's like we call it a neuromorphic you know, code, if you like, because it tries to simulate the human brain, the human cortical column. You know, the way in which the human brain functions. So we're doing a code that simulates a human function, because a human function's got many interlinkages.
Absolutely.
You know? So once you put your information in that sort of neuromorphic source code, then it spills out a completely different set of variables.
I need to go on a robotics course to understand exactly what you guys are doing. But the reality is, it is the future. It's unbelievable. You already are employing 70 young IT technicians, which I think is just fantastic, and software developers. This is a growing field. It's a field that I think that most of the youth are so interested in, and that we are seeing a growth with local companies developing this. Kgotso Chikane is the Chief Executive Officer of MegaTech AI, and this Friday they are launching an artificial intelligence outfit that promises to bring South Africa up to speed in terms of this rapidly growing sector, which is creating amazing innovations globally. I think we need to do an insert on this so that people can actually visually see what we're talking about. It's difficult to understand something like this if it's not anything you know about, so to see it is a different thing altogether. Kgotso, thank you. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck. I hope it goes well.
Thank you.
I'm going to say goodbye to you from now. Have a seat, Kgotso. We'll see you in a short while. Let's take a break. In fact, I'm saying goodbye now. I'm going to say goodbye. No, yes or no? Yes? We're taking a break. I was said to say goodbye, then I'm not. Now I am. Let's take a break. We'll come and say goodbye after this. Stay tuned.